Hello, the internet. Hello, people listening in the year 2027 on the podcast, which is how long it's taking me to publish these things at the moment. I'm so fucking busy. It's just not even funny.
It's fine. It's
Oh,
fine. We don't get paid for this. Do it
no.
purely for the love of the game.
Yes. Hello, the Jeffable. I'm having a period of time.
Well, you can see my tagline on this is upright and not crying. So I see we're both experiencing Thursday
Yes.
today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thursday.
shout out anyone else in the chat who's also experiencing a Thursday.
Yes. Thursdays. They're not Fridays.
Oh,
They're kind of. Let's rank the days of the week in order of how
S
much we
tier
like
through
them.
to yeah.
So F tier would definitely be Mondays.
Oh God, absolutely.
Mondays are the worst. Um, I actually quite like Tuesdays.
I have a lunchtime meeting every fortnight on a Tuesday, and that sucks. Like every other
Uh,
Tuesday for me is just like meetings, meetings, meetings all day.
so that's but the general, the abstract concept of
Oh
Tuesdays,
yeah, absolutely.
I think, because you've got past Monday, and you sort
Mm.
of like your brain's got itself back into.
Jeff of course just made the joke that we're always going to build up to.
Oh yes,
Never could get the hang of
this must be
Thursdays.
a Thursday.
It's the issue with having a live chat.
Oh, curse
Funnier
you,
than us.
Jeffable. Um, but yes, and then Wednesday is the whole sort of hump day
Hmm.
thing, and I'm never really sure where people stand on that. It's kind of, um, yeah. And then Thursdays is like purgatory.
Exactly.
You're
It's
sort
like
of,
the early Sunday afternoon where of the week in that like I should have got more done than I did, and I didn't.
yeah,
And now I've got to like there's enough time left in the week to try and get all the stuff done that I did want to do, but will I?
yes, yeah.
Ah,
What Douglas Adams called the long dark tea time of the soul.
precisely.
So yes,
I am
um,
curious about what you've put in the title of this one, which is in New Jersey they got a goddamn Swedish parade. And I had a quick Google and I
yes,
could not figure out what you were referring to.
IKEA.
Oh,
So yes, basically, it's a line from the song IKEA by Jonathan Coulton,
right.
which is completely brilliant, like everything that Jonathan Coulton does. If anybody doesn't know who Jonathan Coulton is, the thing he's probably most famous for is he wrote "Still Alive" and the various other songs from Portal and Portal 2. But he's also written a whole bunch of other stuff, and my favourite, Re Your Brains, which is about a zombie trying to set up a meeting in the apocalypse. Um, but yes, he does a whole song about IKEA, just some oak and some pine and a handful of Norsemen selling furniture for college kids and divorced men. Which, yay. I'm not actually buying IKEA furniture, but no, the reason it's in there is because I'm quite a fan of IKEA or
Oh, I
IKEA
love IKEA.
potentially, um, specifically for something that they do that I only found out about yesterday, because I've moved a bunch of IKEA stuff up to Sheffield from Surrey, and I've got here and I've got my tabletop and I've got my four legs that go into it, and I've got no screws. The screws that attach the table legs to the table are probably like in a bin now in
I
in
know
Surrey.
where we have some spare screw. No, they're not spare. They're the equivalent of like the exact same IKEA screws.
Right.
Because when we dismantled the one that's like used to be
Oh,
there,
that one, yes.
yeah, and I took the screws out and I put them in a little paper envelope and I taped it to the back of the thing because I
Oh,
know this
well,
struggle. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is it's a real problem.
yes.
But
But
anyway, continue.
if you go to IKEA, they have a spare parts page, and you have to put in the actual number. So everything that IKEA sell and every sort of part that
It's got a
comes in a
little
box that
skew.
IKEA
Yeah.
sell has a six-digit number, I think it was. Um, and it said go off and find this what this number is. But then it also has step-by-step instructions. So it's kind of like find if you've lost the instructions for what you're trying to build, then just go onto our website, search for the thing that it is, go to there's a product and something tab, and then you
Yeah,
go
you can
into
download
there,
the
and
manual.
it has the manual, and then you can look in the manual, find the screw, and go, oh, it's 118 something, and this is the good bit. For small spare parts, so screws, bolts, those weird things that they have where there's like a screw that's got a notch on the end of it
Yeah,
and then a weird turny thing that
I
goes
love
around it
those.
that
So
holds
satisfying to build.
this. Oh, I love them when you tighten them and
Yeah.
they just go that kind of thok.
Yep.
Um, and you put in your part number and it goes, how many do you want? And you go, well, 20 because I've completely lost all of them. And it goes, all right, put in your address. And then it went, because you're asking for quite a lot, we are going to send you an email and you have to click a link in the email to verify it.
Hmm.
And then they send it to you
Yep.
for free. No postage, no credit
Yep.
card, no, this is going to cost you like £1.25 per screw because serve you
Because
right
they
for
can. Yeah.
being a Nero spicy basket case. They
Hmm.
just send it to you.
Yep.
And they have a list of reasons as to why
Oh, that's sweet.
you are ordering which I assume is just for like their metrics market research kind of stuff. And it was original part was damaged, but it didn't have lost in there for any of it.
Oh.
It didn't have I am an absolute disaster on legs and I can't keep track of things. Hello, Top Swag Code, who randomly found this live on LinkedIn and has subscribed and is going to watch later. You have a nice day too when you come back and watch this later, and all the best to you.
Yeah. I've seen people
But
online
yes,
joking about like you being able to get replacement parts for various bits of your IKEA build and saying like the thing to do is just like say, oh, I lost this one bit. Oh, I didn't get this one bit. And like, you wouldn't download a Hjelma bit by
no.
bit. you wouldn't pirate a Hjelma
No, but this is the thing. So
or a
for the bigger
Kallax.
parts, like if you need a replacement shelf for a bookshelf,
Yeah,
then
like
they
the
do,
the
I
mini
assume,
shelves they
charge
sell
something
they
for
sell
that.
separately. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Uh,
But even then, the fact that you can go and buy just like the one bit of a drawer from a Billy drawer unit that has broken, and you don't have to buy a whole new drawer even, let
mm,
alone a new unit, is in this day and age,
I
and
know.
you instinctively lump IKEA in with that whole semi-disposable, like TVs. You don't get a TV repaired anymore. If your TV breaks, you get a new TV, and you throw the old TV on the scrap heap of ever-increasing e-waste. And so
Mhm.
it's nice that IKEA are kind of going, no. And so the option I ended up choosing from the list of reasons why I needed a spare part was renewing IKEA furniture. I'm kind of like, yes,
Mm,
I am renewing it
yeah.
because
We've got a
it
comment in
is
the chat that
old.
says, since all of IKEA stuff is published online, I wonder if you could use an LLM as a sort of father-in-law to help you build it in real time and ask stupid questions to. So I have a quibble with this. What you want is not a father-in-law, but a lesbian.
Yes,
You want your friendly neighborhood lesbian, ideally pair of lesbians, to come and help you build your IKEA furniture. And
yes.
I do, if you live in Sheffield, I do have contacts.
You're thinking of two
Uh,
people specifically, aren't
yes,
you?
I
Yes,
am. Yes, I
yes,
am.
yes. When I get my bed, you will have to. Um,
Oh,
I
I
will.
love building an IKEA furniture. That's my happy place.
So no, I need to get two beds and one more mattress. Um, but yes, uh,
Oh, you're in
and
Wakefield. Yeah,
someone's in
yeah,
Wakefield. Yes,
yes.
excellent. But no, so yeah, that was hence the title because
Yeah.
IKEA.
It's so
I am
nice to have,
celebrating.
interact with a corporation that's not just hostile to its users at every turn.
Yes, yeah,
Mm,
and one where you can sort of go and buy. You can literally buy an entire house except for the walls and the ceilings
hmm
from IKEA, and then once you're done and you're exhausted and you've kind of loaded it all into, you can get a hot dog for like £1 or Swedish meatballs, which I'm not
hmm
personally a fan of, but I do like a hot dog. And yeah, there's one of those plague pits where you can put your children in it and then pick them up at the end of the thing with like whooping cough and chicken pox and measles and God knows what else.
Oh, the child that we babysit for, who Randall's now actually met. We were looking
Oh,
after
she's
her
lovely.
yesterday and the day before, and she does have a cough at the moment. And it's just like
Oh,
I've never had that feeling before, because this is like the first time I've really been friends with a child where like she's coughing and she's miserable. I'm just like, no, I want to take it away from you and be ill instead of you.
it
Um,
is. It is the
yeah,
worst. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But evidently, I don't think she's been in the IKEA plague pit, but everywhere that 2-year-olds hang out is basically a plague pit, as I understand
Oh
it. So,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
And it does not get better until I mean, that's it now, basically.
yeah.
So Ben, who is 14, still comes home with um, things, and then yeah, if you've got enough people living in the house, you can actually keep it going round in circles forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one person gets it, and then by the time the last person gets it, the person who brought it back from school has recovered and the immunity's worn off, and they're ready to get it again.
It's like historical preservation, you know? It's like the seed bank in Iceland. You're just keeping it
Yes,
safe.
yes, that's it.
Hmm.
Um,
Preserving
but,
biodiversity.
so C.S. Haig is saying Joel Spolsky famously wrote how he had a 100% refund policy for his Fog Creek software company. If the customer didn't want to use it anymore, then he issued a refund after a little chat, which apparently has cost the company a negligible amount of money and has produced 0 angry customers.
This is
So
one of the
yes,
things I really missed about, well, actually, and it's something I still have in my current job, thinking about like keeping users happy, is that when you have few enough users and you're able to do things like that, like have one-on-one chats with them and do sort of really bespoke customer service, essentially,
yes,
um, you are able to keep people very, very happy, compared to somewhere like, I mean, obviously the extreme end, you've got like Microsoft, which I don't know anybody who loves Microsoft and doesn't have any complaints about it. But you know,
no,
even mid-sized software companies, because that's my experience of working, like you then have to start operating on, okay, well, we're just going to have a certain amount of attrition and people who are angry about what it is.
yeah,
But the first company I did DevRel for, we had few enough users that we could sort of go above and beyond for them.
yes,
But it's something you have to give up as you grow if you're trying to scale.
yeah. And a lot of the time, sort of, if you're launching something, you can kind of go early access, and I mean, this is how Google kind of scaled everything up,
Mm-hmm.
because it was like invite-only betas and everything, and it would take ages to sort of find somebody who had been given 5 invitations and persuade them to give you one of them and so forth. But it
Yep.
meant that
Well, like early days of Blue
a
Sky.
yes, yeah, and yeah, there was a limited number of users to support, so you weren't dealing with vast quantities of
Mm-hmm.
hate and everything else. But also people, because it was difficult to get into, they felt like they were special just for being allowed to use it at all. And so
Oh,
if
I mean, I
something
have
was
this in my
broken,
running a public beta talk, or
yes,
running a sort of private and public beta user testing and production talk, where it's like, yeah, you know, you invite people in to feel like they're partners in the creation of the thing. It's
yeah,
actually really powerful. You don't get people being entitled so much as you do them wanting to actually contribute, which is really nice.
yes, yeah. Um, so yeah, at X-Ray, our theatre mode is
Mm.
now um, in testing in 2 theatres, one in the Netherlands and one in the UK.
Hmm.
And yeah, we can work very closely with both sets of people, and they are doing sort of trial runs in a single auditorium in a single location, and
Hmm.
then they're both kind of like fairly central figures in the theatre scenes in their respective countries, and so it will roll out across the country to smaller
Hmm.
theatres and all this sort of stuff. And but for the time being, it means when they say, "Oh, can you make that colour more different from that colour?" you can kind of go, "Yes, that's a really good point. Actually, we should revisit the colour palette and let's talk about
Yeah,
that together." And then come off that meeting and go and just bounce some of those ideas off the other one and say,
it's very much how
How do
my
you
job
feel about
works right
this?"
now. Where
Yeah,
we have few enough users, and that's sort of intrinsic to the thing that we do, because our users are only ever going to be electronic health records researchers and sort of
Yes.
NHS service analysts or whatever. There's a small universe of such people. It's really nice we don't have to evangelize to the whole world, but also, yeah, it means that we can have relationships with those people where I have like high context of what it is that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But then the flip side of that is that you end up with certain power users who maybe have an outsized influence on product direction. I don't think we really have that so much at my place, but it's certainly a thing we try to be aware of. Where, you know, if you over-index on those few early customers, there are potential pitfalls there.
Yeah. So I've just had a notification pop up on my iPad, which is just to my left here, for some reason, the AA, the Automobile Association,
Yes.
reminding me that the clocks are going forwards, going back
Back, yeah. Spring forward,
on
fall back.
Saturday. That I hate.
I know,
That
because
is
it's
how
fall.
I remember it, because it's fall, and it's just like, no, it's not spring forward, autumn back. But yeah, that doesn't
No,
make sense.
that doesn't work.
And I once you kind of give on one thing, you sort of like you give an inch, and then you're suddenly kind of going. I mean, it's kind of like it's not onomatopoeic, but it's a
Yeah.
word that makes sense because it's when all the leaves fall. You know, the blossoms spring forth in the spring, and then the leaves fall off in the fall. And so then it only remains to rename summer and winter to sweat and shiver, and we're
Yeah.
done. Or
I mean,
scorch.
in French, winter is hiver anyway, so you're basically there, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably it. I wonder if that's where that came from.
I don't
Anyway,
think so.
no.
But it is where, like,
I've been
hibernal,
watching.
hibernate.
There's a chap on YouTube called Language Jones, who has really rather bravely, in my opinion, put out two videos now. One was a few months back, and he's just done a follow-up one on pronouns. And
Ooh.
yeah,
I love
spicy.
linguistics takes on it. Well, it's only spicy because of the culture wars nonsense, right? Like, it's just, hey, here's a linguistics, here's an aspect of language, right?
Yes.
You know, and here's how it operates differently in different language families and different contexts or whatever.
Yes.
You know, I
But
do sometimes
no,
think
his
about all these people who are freaking out about being asked to use different pronouns than they might have expected. Like, learning the simplest facts about how Japanese pronoun systems work would just fry them,
oh
you
yeah,
know, just
absolutely.
obliterate them. Yeah.
Yes. But no, I mean his sort of conclusions is kind of like he's got like 6 points about it, and one of them is it's much easier than you think to use different pronouns, and it's really not that much effort. And then the follow-up one is it is actually much harder than you think, to reprogram your speech habits of a lifetime.
The one I
So
really struggle with
you need
is
to be
people
patient.
who use its pronouns. Like, there are a couple of people I know who, and like,
Yes.
granted, I don't talk about these people that much in my day-to-day life, but
Yeah.
I really stumble over calling a person it just because the mental mapping isn't there.
Yeah.
And I can,
Yeah.
and like, you know, if it's the first time that you asked to call a single person they, I can absolutely imagine that same like stumbling block. But if there's somebody in your life that you want to be respectful to, you do have to kind of just push through it, and it's worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favourite bit of it was his last point, where or his modest proposal, which was that actually in Old English there is a non-gendered personal pronoun, hey, hem,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so we could use that.
We could. There was also thon, which was introduced, I think, in the 1800s. People were starting to
Yeah.
use that.
Yeah.
Like, there's been sort of, I think at this point that would basically be a neo pronoun in that it hasn't survived into modern usage in any form, like hey hem.
Yeah. Yeah. But the really cool thing about hey is there are various like declensions or whatever of it, like variations of it, and so you have heyo and heya and
Huh.
that sort of thing, which is quite fun. So yes, And then the other, this has become my like YouTube recommendation moment, but
Yeah.
the other YouTuber I've discovered this week is AI Laugh at My Own Jokes, which is this young lady called Sylvia, um,
Hmm.
who just does the most batshit insane sketches. They are just very, very silly, like sort of
I
Monty
enjoy
Python
I enjoy a bit of
levels.
whimsy. You know, I'm
It's
partial.
very whimsy.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and apparently she seems to share a living arrangement with a vaguely ginger Irish person, and so they do some sketches together. Um, but it is just last night I'd had quite a long day, and it finished
Hmm.
at about 9 o'clock, and I watched the last episode of Gen V season
Hmm.
two.
I'm not up to date.
Disappoint.
Only so many hours in the day. I did watch Alien Earth finally. Really enjoyed
Yes,
it. Yep, yep,
very,
yep.
very good.
Mm.
But no, the finale of season two of Gen V is a little bit disappointing, and I was discussing it with someone else who has watched it, and we agreed that the um, the big reveal that you
You won't
predict
spoil me
in
for, yeah,
episode four should have happened an episode earlier, so that they had another episode kind
to
of
deal with the
post reveal
ramifications.
to
Yeah.
sort of. It was like Act Three, or if there's an Act Four, then Act Four was kind of like very very short and necessarily cut. Felt a bit Game of Thronesy,
Mm,
where
mm.
they kind of like got halfway into season eight and it was the last season, and you're like, well, you've
I
got
feel like it's time
three.
for me to re-up my recommendation for what's it called? The North Remembers by
The
Queen of
fanfic.
Hades. Yeah, which is just, I mean, it's several 100,000 words, I think, and it just
Yes.
starts where Dance of Dragons leaves off and just finishes the series in
Yeah.
just the most elegant, satisfying, creatively just so
Imagine,
good.
imagine if. See, that's kind of given me um, another. If you win one of those big prizes on the national lottery, and you could
Yes, what
just
would you do with
fund the
yeah
making of the TV show
of
of
that fan fiction?
Remember the North. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. No, that would be very, very cool.
Do we have
Oh,
any?
that's
Oh, go on.
the other thing, though. Speaking of fan fiction, is that Sylvia uh, person does is there's a lot of Harry Potter kind of spoofs, but also what's the thing? Twilight with the vampires and
Twilight,
stuff.
another thing that would have been so good if it was good. Like the
Yes.
world, there's really interesting kind of world building and like potential there. There's like
Yeah.
some and did it capitalize on it? No, not at all.
No. And I
Yeah.
mean, the books were very. Here is a completely void character that you can project yourself onto.
Hmm.
And then I could say something very mean about casting, but I'm not going to. But
Listen, Kristen
yes,
Stewart's out there
the,
living her best life now, so we can all be happy about that.
absolutely she is, and
Yeah.
more power to her.
And so is Robert Pattinson doing all manner of weird stuff. He's like, I only want to play freaks. And then I see him playing Batman, and his agent was like, I thought you said you wanted to play freaks. And he was like, no, he's a freak.
Batman is a total freak.
Exactly.
So
Robert Pattinson's vision, I appreciate it. I see it.
yes,
Do we
and
do we
Robert
have anything
Pattinson
about
is.
tech to talk about this
We
week, by
do.
the way?
Okay, so a couple of things about tech that I
Mm.
vaguely remembered. Google have apparently demonstrated quantum supremacy.
And what does that mean when it's at home?
So, quantum supremacy is can you get a quantum computer to do something in a meaningfully smaller amount of time than it would take a classical computer, which is the opposite of a quantum computer. So, classical computer thing with the silicon and the binary and the blah blah blah.
Mm.
And yes, there are so far Google and the other people who've been doing quantum computers for ages, and I can't remember the name of them, but it was
I
like
want to say Hitachi, but
no.
no,
It's
they
a
were doing the
startup
solid.
that
They were
was
they were
literally
doing the
just to
5D
do
optical
quantum.
storage. That was
Yeah,
Hitachi. Yeah,
yes, that was them.
yeah.
Which uses quantum, but it isn't quantum computing.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
but so someone said, yes, we have demonstrated something that would take a classical computer much longer than it took the quantum computer, and somebody else went, but what you've done is you've used the quantum computer to simulate the running of a quantum computer. It doesn't have the thing that you've made it do doesn't have a use outside of the simulation, so therefore
Okay.
why would you want to do it with a classical computer? So then they kind of moved the goalposts a little bit, and it became a computer can do a quantum computer can do something more quickly than a classical computer that you might actually want a classical computer to do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and this is the thing
You
about
can't
like,
just like reverse engineer a test just so you
no,
can pass it.
that's it.
Yeah.
And so Google have done this really weird thing where they have reproduced quantum echoes.
I don't know what those are.
So this, and I mean,
I mean, it sounds
you know,
like it's a great bad name, but
it's oh yes, or a album title from
Quantum
Pink
Echoes
Floyd if they.
algorithm breakthrough.
But no, so a quantum echo is in quantum computing you talk about performing gates, and so you have two qubits and you perform a gate on both of them, and then you introduce a random qubit in, and then you perform the gates backwards.
Yep.
And so it will, if you just perform the gates backwards, it would return to its original state. But because you introduce this randomness in there,
Hmm.
it doesn't return to its original state, except it defies time because it changes the superposition of the qubits before you perform the gates. Because, like, somehow reality knows that there's going to be the randomness.
Yep.
It is, and I mean, it's it makes no sense, and
Our
I don't
current
know.
models of like causality do not account for it, basically.
No,
Yeah.
no, and
Or at
and
least
our
the models
current,
that I have in my head. I'm sure that there are quantum scientists who do have models that account for this, and yeah,
yes,
but I don't know what they
but
are.
I just I don't know how. Um, there are people who spend their job in the same way as my job is wrangling bits and your job is wrangling words
Researchers,
and
people, and mental
researchers, and
models, and yeah.
yes, there are people whose job is wrangling just this understanding of how the universe works at an incredibly small level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, no, how can you do it? It hurts. Even the wave particle thing.
Yeah. But I
Um,
mean, that's true of every, like the moon technically is a wave as well as a big particle. It's just that it's like the point that the way in which it's worth considering that is so minuscule as to be negligible, right? There's,
yes,
you know,
yeah. It's kind of,
like
yes,
technically it's true, but it's never relevant.
electrons do, like, apparently
Yeah, they
quite frequently just teleport from one
well, they
place to another.
amplitude, like it's a probability distribution over the shell of the atom,
Yes,
whatever it is, or
the,
something.
the sort of
Yeah,
the electron cloud. It's
love
in
that
there
stuff.
somewhere, and it can go up in energy state or down in energy state. And when it goes up in energy state, it absorbs a photon, and when it goes
Yep.
down in energy state, it emits one, and that's how light happens.
Hmm. That's
Um,
how you get like neon tubes glowing.
yes,
Is you
and
feed electricity through the gas, or and it then emits out that as
yeah,
photons, I think, or something.
um,
Not electricity, something else. I don't know.
but
Yeah.
then my other favorite thing that I was trying to get my head around recently, watching one of the sort of longer YouTube videos. Hicks Speech is asking, was it DNS? Yes, it was DNS.
It was DNS. The
We'll
AWS
talk
outage.
about that as well, because it was DNS again. Um, but no, so there's a very people go, why is there something rather than nothing? Like, why does anything exist?
Asymmetry.
And
And
one of the
if it was less than nothing, we'd call it something.
well, the thing is, one of the theories as to why anything exists is that it doesn't.
Ha.
Is that the if you add up all the matter and antimatter, which thereby includes energy and anti-energy, that the sum would come to zero. And so what we are experiencing is a fluctuation. But as part of that, and they have actually proved that this happens, you apparently get particles. So a particle and its antiparticle, so like an electron and an anti-electron, which has a name, but I can't remember what it is. If those come
Positron?
together, they will just cancel each other out. They will just blink out of existence.
Positron, yeah.
Yeah,
But that happens in
positron.
vacuums, doesn't it? Like you
That's the
get
thing.
tiny,
In the
tiny
vacuum of
subatomic
space,
particles just.
particles, they just, yeah, you have nothing, and it turns out that nothing can split into a thing and a negative thing, and then they just recombine and you carry on your day.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
what we're
there
just
are,
living in a pocket that's a particularly big instance of that.
yes, yeah. And that's the theory of like the Big Bang or whatever.
I can't
And my
believe
favorite,
like that we and I still have to worry about like my credit score, you know?
I know that
Yeah.
just drives me nuts. When I had my mental health incident in 2009, and my brain just could not stop thinking about things on this sort of cosmic level, and how the sun is going to expand to the point where it's actually, consumed the Earth
Yep.
and
And that
reached
one
out
episode of
almost as
Doctor Who.
far as the as Mars. And yes, like that one episode of Doctor Who. And you're kind of like, so in that scheme of things, does it really matter if I don't fill in my timesheet?
Yeah, like
And it
nihilism
turned
is
out,
kind of,
yes,
or
it
like,
did.
positive nihilism is like, universe doesn't give a fuck about that embarrassing thing you said the other week. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
It's fine.
It's one day it will reoccur in a Boltzmann brain, but we don't have to worry about that.
Maybe we're already there. Who knows? Who can
But
say?
yes, so yes, the Jeffable with the fun fact in the chat. Our bodies produce about 1 positron a minute, beta plus decay from the K40 in our bones. We make antimatter. We do. This is brilliant. I love facts like this. Thank you so much, the Jeffable. But yes, and subatomic particles that are part of the atoms in your body teleport to entirely other locations, like varying distances away, and then other ones teleport in to replace them, and then they swap back again, and all sorts of bonkers stuff goes on.
Probably one of the ways by which you get mutation in DNA,
It
right?
it probably is because DNA is sufficiently sort of
Complex
small
and
that
yeah.
that you can get things like that.
Well, it's incredibly data dense. I've got that in my data storage talk. So
Yes.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
use it for
Terabytes.
encoding. Yeah.
But so yes, what was the thing? Yeah, so there is a probability that the electron will continue to be where it is, or that it will jump to a higher or lower state around the neutron and proton that it is attached to.
Yeah.
But there is a probability that it will just bugger off. It's just the probability that it will stay where it's supposed to be is much, much, much higher than the probability that it will bugger off. But the fact that, and there's also a probability that the quarks in the proton and the neutron will do the same thing. There's a vanishingly small probability that both, so if you've got a hydrogen doesn't have a proton, does it?
It doesn't have a
It
neutron.
doesn't, it
It's
doesn't have a
one.
neutron.
It's one proton.
Right. So helium has a proton and a neutron. And
Two protons.
two protons.
Because if
Whatever.
one proton and one neutron is deuterium, and then
Okay.
you get tritium. So it's the
Right.
number of protons that determines what element
So
it is
let's
and how
take,
many electrons it's going to have.
yes. Right.
And then the number of neutrons is like it needs to be stable. So and there's generally
Yeah.
one or there's a handful of number of neutrons that it can have, which is where you get, and that's isotopes is how many neutrons it has.
Yeah. Right. So let's take deuterium, which 1 proton, 1 neutron. So that's 6
And
quarks.
some number of electrons depending on what it's near.
Yes. But yes, it's got sort of 3 up quarks and 3 down quarks and some number of electrons. And there is a probability, there is a number that you could put on a probability that that entire atom of deuterium will
Just
teleport somewhere else. But it's
yeah,
so small that it, as far as
and this is
we've never observed it happening.
significantly larger than the moon, but it's the same principle.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so there is a probability that every single atom and molecule and subatomic particle in your body will do
just go.
that all at the
Yeah,
same time and just not be here anymore and go and be somewhere
that's a
else.
fun new way to, instead of saying like, oh, I've had a really bad day at work, I want to like walk into traffic or whatever. Like, I wish every particle in my body would spontaneously just like
Yes.
teleport
Yeah.
into a million different places. I get the transporters in Star Trek. It's like you just get
Yes.
like obliterated and then cloned somewhere else.
But yes, and then it was kind of like once I got my head around that, I was kind of like, that's what Douglas Adams meant by the infinite improbability drive. If you can work out the exact probability of all the atoms and then generate improbability somehow with like a
Just
cricket
engineer yourself into the timeline where
thing.
that's going to happen.
Yes, yeah,
There was somebody, I went to a talk at Worldcon in Glasgow this past summer. Not this summer just gone, but the one before. And there was somebody who was giving a talk on, like, it was basically manifestation, and that was his whole thing. Was like, you do your affirmations, right? And what you do is you write out like, like this thing is going to happen, and then you take like the first letter of each one and you write it on top of each other, and that's your magic sigil, and you visualize it as hard as you can in your head. And and what you're doing by doing this is altering the physical realities of your brain such that you are maneuvering yourself into the quantum timeline where that thing is going to happen.
yes,
And it was some of the most whack shit I've ever heard, and
yeah.
work of art. I think he was
So,
like fully sincere as well, which is just beautiful.
oh, that is. I mean, it's always better when they're actually properly nuts.
It's one of the only times I've got up and walked out of a talk. And my spouse and I were in the middle of a row as well, so it was like we were not subtle.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But no, the most recent season of Black Mirror actually has an episode roughly based on that idea, and also the Neil Stephenson book Anathem is it spins off that kind of idea. It's you can achieve immortality by just switching to timelines where you don't die.
It's worked for me so far.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible that is what we're doing. When you think of all the times that you nearly died, and then
You wouldn't be here to complain about it if you had.
Subscribe to the many worlds theory, you're just in
it's
one of the
the
realities
weak
where you
anthropic
didn't.
principle, right? The only one in
Yes.
which you're around to think about this is the ones in which that was true. Selection bias.
It does make me sad to think that I died in all the non-evil timelines, and these are the only ones I've got left.
That's if you're assuming you're in the best possible timeline of the ones that still exist.
I mean,
right?
I'm not even sure of that, to be honest.
Yeah. Right?
I assume that there is a timeline out there somewhere where 100% of the internet doesn't rely on US East 1 in order to continue functioning. Do you see how I segued there? That was seamless.
Artful.
Artful, yes. But no, Amazon. And it was DNS because it's always DNS.
Wasn't BGP this time.
Except that one time when it was SSL certificates not being renewed because they were set to renew on the 29th of February in 2013. The 29th of February didn't happen. So
exactly.
when the 1st of March came along, an entire Azure cloud wasn't even regional. It was the whole damn thing. None of the storage worked. But yes, Amazon in particular, so much stuff. Even companies that like Netflix, obviously massive, Facebook, all these companies have their own data centers, but they still use Amazon for like backup capacity. And so yeah, it's like rather than having, because you think like Netflix, there are times of day when nobody in the States is watching Netflix, and then there are times of day when lots of people are in the States are watching Netflix, and then there are those times of day when the new season of Stranger Things drops.
Yes, and it's the equivalent of the ad break when everyone goes to make a cup of tea.
Yes. Yes, I actually worked on a project related to the ad break and the
Cup
cup
of
of tea.
tea, energy surge, energy demand surge. Yeah,
Yes, have I told you about that?
that you worked on something. I don't know
That I
actually.
so
Tell the
this
story again.
was
We're on a podcast.
yeah yeah. Do you know what causes the surge of energy?
Everyone switching on their kettles.
No,
Ah, that's
no
the like
kettles.
urban legend type version, isn't it?
Yeah, no, the kettles actually it doesn't use that much electricity. No, what really kills it is people opening their fridges.
Oh, yep,
So
that
people,
tracks for
everybody
milk.
gets up at the same time because it's half time in the World Cup final or whatever, or the FA Cup final or some form of sports ball final. And they go and they make a cup of tea for everyone who's come round to watch who isn't drinking lager.
Hmm.
And the way that people put milk in tea is they open the fridge, they take the milk out, they go and they put the milk in the tea, then they put the milk back in the fridge, and then they close the fridge door.
They don't
They
whoop whoop
don't
and
open
whoop
it,
whoop.
take it, and boom,
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom. And so I actually worked on this project that put essentially a tiny little Internet of Things, and this was in 2010, 2011, I think we were working on this.
before it was cool.
So before it was cool, we had to write our own HTTP client because it didn't have one. It was C Sharp .NET Micro Framework, but it was 3.5, and so we had to write our own HTTP client
Oh
over
my
the
gosh.
TCP socket. And then 4 came along and it had an HTTP client, which was very annoying. But yes, and then the idea was that your fridge, once it was closed again, would send a message to a sort of central manager thing going, can I turn on my pump, my Freon, whatever it is system, and start to cool down again? And the central manager thing would go, no, ask me again in a minute.
Yeah.
And they would take turns. And so it wouldn't be you had to wait until group A of fridges had kind of got to
Mm.
full cool. It would be that you'd get a minute at a time or 30 seconds at a time each, and then all of them over time would get back up to
Yeah.
temperature. And
Eventual
so in
consistency.
total, it would take like 3 hours instead of half an hour, but we
Hmm.
wouldn't have to buy a load of electricity
Mm.
from France or wherever we get our excess electricity from. Um, and it did actually make it into sort of day-to-day use, but not as a kind of public thing, because it would have essentially required everybody to either voluntarily join it
Mm.
or fridge manufacturers all to go, yes, we'll all put this into our thing. And then you'd have had to stand up a cloud service to sort of make people's fridges turn on. And what does the fridge do
And
if the cloud service?
when that cloud service provider has an outage, you get
Yeah,
your fridge dies, like the
your
people
fridge
with the
just kind of
beds
goes, oh,
that were too
the
warm.
beds. I love the
Yeah,
beds.
it's such a there's
Tell
that
people
one
about the
tweet,
beds.
or so that there's that one tweet which is just like, oh, tech enthusiast, like everything in my home is smart, I have smart everything, and then the person who works in tech has nothing newer than a printer and a loaded shotgun that they keep next to it in case the printer makes a
Yes.
funny noise. And it's just the having a bed that has like, it's got controllable temperatures, like really cool, like you can lift it
Yeah.
out. I would imagine it's got like sort of you can adjust the physicality of the bed, the shape of it, as well
Yes.
as
You
the
could do a sitting
temperature
up
and
in
things like
bed
that.
and sort of raise your legs to get more blood flow to your nose and that sort of
The
thing.
rest of you, yeah, exactly. And you would think that could all run locally, that could all
You
run
would.
offline, but then how would they spy on you, and how would they shut down your ability to do all these things if you didn't have an active subscription, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, of course, it's connected to the cloud, which means that if you are in your bed and you're cozy, comfy, and you've got the heating up and you're about to go to sleep, and you've got it programmed to go to stop heating up, some point through the night because you don't need it to anymore because you're in it and you're cozy, comfy, and then the cloud service goes down, and your bed like polls the cloud to be like, hey, should updated instructions for my timings of like what I should be doing, and it doesn't get anything, so it just stays warm the entire night, and then you wake up in a
Yes.
you know ocean of your own
So
sweat.
the people who had the mattress in a kind of like not sleeping position physically, I have some sympathy with. I mean, don't buy. You can buy beds that do that don't have a cloud connection. But the people who were complaining that it was too hot to sleep on, I
Mm.
was just kind of like, unplug it. I'm assuming it's not getting hot from a battery. Unplug it.
Yeah, that hadn't occurred to me. To be fair, I haven't thought deeply about it, but
And
yeah.
that's that. But it
Ooh.
was only like I think it was on the third or fourth story that I'd seen about it, and I suddenly went, why didn't they just unplug it? And
Also,
this
who
is
has
where
enough
we've
plug
got.
sockets in their room to be plugging in their bed?
I mean,
Every plug socket in my room has an extension cable in it, and I still don't have enough plug sockets.
no, I've got. I'm still sort of going through a process of moving stuff into the rooms where they're supposed to be.
But you don't put furniture in front of plug sockets unless you've got an extension cable in both of them. Like,
God no,
that's
no.
just, yeah.
I'm currently being extremely happy that the extension lead that has to run across the kitchen door is long enough that I can hook it into its little shelf thing under my desk and be able to plug everything in. Once my screws arrive and I can attach table legs to the
Yes, of
thing,
course. Yes, your free IKEA screws.
my free IKEA screws. And now I'm thinking I have to work out. I've got a bookshelf and I've lost some of the things that hold
The
the
little,
shelves
the
up. The
gubbins.
little
The
nodule
little
things,
gubbins, yeah, yeah.
the gubbins, and I'm pretty sure that IKEA will send me some of those as well.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, but yes. Also, I had to order a hammer because I need a hammer. I haven't got a hammer. But no, I was gonna something else about the
The
bed
outage?
thing. No, just the outage, yes, but no, the beds specifically. Um, and yeah, kind of going, I haven't been able to sleep because my bed was too hot is sort of the equivalent to going, I'm really sorry I'm late for the meeting. I got stuck on the escalator. It's like, yes, there is a solution. If the escalator stops moving
It becomes
because of some
stairs.
United Nations conspiracy against you or whatever the
Or an
reason might
AWS
be,
outage.
yeah, or an AWS outage. God, cloud connected escalators. It's only a matter of time.
I'm imagining like some spy action movie where the guy in the like command center is like hacking in so that somebody's on the escalator and it starts going the other way and they have to run off it in like a chase sequence or something.
So yes, I
Uh,
also I found the most spectacularly pointless piece of hardware in a box as I've been unpacking boxes. It's a 2018 Mac Mini, which means it's the last one with an Intel CPU in it.
mhm.
And the thing is, I'm pretty sure I've upgraded it to have it's either half a terabyte or a terabyte solid state disk in it, because it was one of the ones from before Apple Silicon where you could take the bottom off and put a bigger disk in it. So it's got a big disk in it. And I'm kind of looking at it and just going, well, I must be able to do something with it. But
Mhm.
I'm stuck for ideas of what to do with the thing. I could sort of turn it into a media server of some
Run
description, but I
Fret
don't
Badger
know
off
what
it
to do
or
with it.
something.
Run what off it?
Fret Badger.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yes,
Free up a Raspberry
FretBadger is
Pi.
currently offline because the Raspberry Pi that runs it is somewhere, so FretBadger isn't working.
Mhm.
Um, but
You should
that
get
will,
a little
yeah,
badger sticker for it. Does Fret Badger have a logo?
yes,
It could be the official Fret Badger server. You get stickers
yes,
made.
it could.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, if I stick Linux on it, because it's an Intel one, and I can have that as my Linux box running everything, and just tail scale onto it, and it can be,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's your home lab. Which distro of Kubernetes are you going to use?
I will probably use whichever one I was using on the Raspberry Pi. It's either K0 or K3.
I was going to say like K3s with Rancher probably or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think K3. Whichever one I
Throwback to
used
when I was a
first.
Kubernetes thought leader
Oh
as a
God,
brief
yes.
stint while I was developer advocate for a cloud company.
No, whichever one I started with on the Raspberry Pi um, crashed spectacularly, and I could not. The most annoying thing was that I couldn't uninstall it. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah,
You
I
never want to
think
get
it was
yourself into that situation.
K0S, but I
Uh-huh.
couldn't make it go away. And it was like I was going to have to reinstall the whole of Linux.
Yep.
Um, but now, so I think K3S is the one that's a single binary that's written in Go or something
I
because
think
it
so.
branches
I
things. So
mean, without
it'll
without loss of
probably be
generality,
that.
you can pretty much assume that any Kubernetes distro is written in Go,
Yes,
right?
yeah. Um, but yeah, I will figure out what's on there. Yeah, no, that's an excellent plan. Thank you for that. And I can hook it in. I've decided that my big sort of PC that used to be under my desktop is actually going to be connected to the television
Hmm.
and become essentially games and emergency. I need a Windows PC for something.
Yep. No, I mean having a Windows PC just around is useful. There's in order to get into like if you want to have access to the secure, you don't have access to the secure backend, but like the little enclave within the secure backend of the system that I work on.
Yes,
Yeah, we have like a VM that runs inside that you can connect to through a specific VPN with all these different like security layers. But the VPN that you need to use in order to get into it only wants on Windows. Like
yes,
doesn't
yeah.
work on Mac, doesn't work on Linux. Um, and
We
I have a Windows machine that is now security certified for my current job, thankfully. Um, but I've got other developers in developers in my teams are like running Windows VMs in order to be able to get into this
oh,
VPN.
we have a thing that we interface with called Ordinate Dante, which is audio networking. I'd say standard, but it's proprietary, and standards aren't
That sounds
proprietary.
like
But
a
it's
part of a crossword clue.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean, you can make Dante out of Ordinate,
yeah.
but anyway, it's proprietary. It's also hellishly expensive, and we there's a bit of it. There's a bit of software that you can get that will just take any audio that's playing on a Windows PC specifically and combine it together and make it look like an actual Dante device, and you can sort of get it to play 16 WAVs at the same time and combine them together. But it only works on Windows. And when I say it only works on Windows, what I mean is you need an additional network interface that is not your internet network interface. Dante takes complete control of that network interface. It does not work with virtual, like
With
Hyper-V
Phoenix.
network interfaces or with any kind of VNIC. So when I do it on my laptop, I actually have to have. I've got my Framework 16, which is for sale, but it has this. Um, Most of the cards that you put in a framework are nice and they line up perfectly and they slot in and out really easily. And then this is official first party framework, but it's just this like I'm not sure if it is 3D printed. If it is, it's like a resin 3D print. But yes, it just kind of pokes out of the side there like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Just
Whereas
like primed for being snapped off. Yeah.
absolutely included with the framework if anybody wants to buy a framework. Um,
Secondhand and
but
not contributing money to people who are. Do we want to talk about the framework thing? Uh,
oh, did I think we talked about the framework
did we talk
thing?
about it
But
last time? Anyway, framework are making
anyway,
questionable
it
decisions
skates a
regarding the
little bit
PR
close to
of.
thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, I will not be giving any more of my money to Framework while they are engaged in giving some of my money to some of the people that they're giving it to. Also, why the hell are like the latest and greatest Linux distros all made by Nazi adjacent people? It's just
Yeah, what a world to be in. And
what a
it's
world.
things like this that make it so delightful and refreshing to find out little nice things like IKEA will send you screws for free.
It is. I mean, that is. This is again. This is the sort of point from the end of my reasons to be cheerful
Hmm.
talk. Is that the only way to get through it at the moment is to turn off the news and avoid media as much as possible and focus on the things and the people that are happening around you.
I do have media to recommend that is, which is all of Dropout. If you want to watch something
Oh,
with like stuff that's coming out regularly and is like genuinely excellent, and you like
so
improv
good.
at all,
Yes.
um, Yeah,
Yeah,
I was absolutely
I
howling at the last
I
Make Some Noise.
pay for the dropout subscription.
They're
Um,
offering a way for you to pay more because
I saw.
recently, about 6 months ago, they upped their prices by like £1 a month. And if you were
Yeah,
already subscribed, your thing stayed the same. It was only for new subscribers. And the response from the community was like, "How dare you not up my subscription too? I want to support this more." Which
yes,
is just, they deserve it. It's
yeah.
incredible. And so they were like, you know what? Sure,
The
pay
thing
more if you want.
I think one of the things I really like about Dropout is, I mean, obviously it's a very, very small organization that is
Mm.
punching well above its weight, and it does feel like a parasocial relationship with all the
Yeah, I
performers that
want
you
to be
see
part
on
of
there.
Dropout so badly. What's
I
happened to my
want to,
camera? Hello?
I want to do the noises thing,
I
and I
want to
think I'd
be.
be
I
quite good
want to
at the
go
crowd
drinking with the
work
Noise Boys.
thing. But yes, I would love. Oh, can you imagine playing D&D with Brennan as the DM?
It genuinely, it's like I don't really do parasocial relationships. Like I like people who make art and whatever. And if they turn out to be terrible people, I get sad about it. But I don't. I'm not like I've been betrayed by my friend. But um, yeah, I genuinely believe that I would be friends with Brennan Lee Mulligan. And it makes me sad that that's not
See,
going to happen. But
I'm actually, I this is where my brain is at the moment with its treacherous
yeah,
thoughts and what's the yeah the unbidden thoughts is what if you met Brennan
yeah,
and
he didn't
and
like you.
he didn't like you and then you would just be like, oh my god, everybody else I've ever met was wrong.
Yep,
I am actually shit. That's better.
yep.
So
Glasses.
yes, I think yeah, there are some people whose opinion would matter so much to me that I think it's better that I don't meet them, just in
Yes,
case they think I'm a dick.
don't collapse that way
Keanu
for me. It's better.
Reeves also up there
Yeah.
because yeah,
Hmm.
I love. This is a very short list of people, by the way.
McElroy
So
brothers are up there for me as well. Like people who it would devastate me if they turned
oh,
out to
the
like
Sunny
actually
in
be shit heels.
Philadelphia.
No. You're thinking of somebody McElhenney. No, I'm talking about the
Oh right.
My brother and me guys.
Oh right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Um,
Who are
but
also, if
yes.
you want something nice and fun and chill to listen to and distract you from the horrors, can recommend all their stuff.
Yes. Um, and also, one final recommendation, if you haven't seen it already, do go and watch Hank Green having a complete meltdown about the fact that there is no such thing as a fish, and that sharks are not fish, and the startling fact that the sea bass is more closely related to us than it is to sharks. But yes, there is no useful definition of a fish, and many of the ones that we do have will just confirm what I have been saying ever since I was old enough to think it was funny, which is that dolphins are not mammals, they are bloody fish with like better PR. And whales and porpoises and orcas and manatees, all of them live in the ocean, swim. You're a fish.
Does it have scales that are big enough to be distinguishable to the human eye?
Doesn't matter.
Does if you're
Sharks,
Jewish and you want to
shark,
know if you can eat it?
sharks don't have scales that are big enough to be distinguishable to the human eye because sharks are completely smooth.
They are completely smooth on a like
Yeah,
atomic level. This is true.
yeah.
And that's why they're
So
not kosher.
yeah, they're absolutely frictionless, which is why you can't eat them.
Yeah, your mouth just
So
slides right off.
yeah. See, this was my contribution to that Hank Green video. Everyone else is arguing about what constitutes a fish, and I'm just kind of like, well, obviously sharks aren't fish because fish are rough.
Yeah.
And sharks are
Oh.
smooth, and I have to go and check in on my YouTube comment and see if anybody noticed it or got the reference or whatever. So yes, and yes, right.
On that note,
Anyway, on that note, we will curtail these proceedings. We will be back again next Thursday, which will be post Tekorama for a bunch of people. I will have been to
my God,
Utrecht and back to
the
speak at
FOMO is going to be
speakers.
unreal.
Yes,
I'm
because
not
I
going.
wasn't going to be going because I'm not doing Tekorama. But then Tweakers got in touch and said, "Hey, do you want to come and keynote our thing?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So I'm off to do that. And then, but the week after that, we do have Malmo.
Yes, which is going to be great.
So, which is also going to be awesome. And Heather, I believe, is there for that as well, which is
Yes.
lovely because it's been a minute since
Been a
I've seen
hot
Heather.
minute.
So.
Yeah, it's been since Oslo since we
Yes,
saw her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
getting the band back together.
yay! Which reminds me, I have to go and continue practicing the final countdown. So there you go. There's the rock and roll bit. We've now
Yes, got them
fulfilled
all.
um, our remit for the
Yeah.
podcast. But I am wearing my fingertips smooth because the bass line for final countdown is 16th triplets, just for the entire song, and it is so fun.
This is why you practice drills, your studies, like all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that good stuff. So, all right, we will see everybody next week. Take care of each other and yourselves. We love you, and you can do whatever you want forever.
But please hydrate and wear sunscreen.
Yes. Bye.